big favor to ask for you, Saints fans. We are currently 75 subscribers away from hitting that Tyrann Mathieu milestone of 32,000 members of our squad here at Saints Now by Chat Sports. So if you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. That way you can get daily Saints videos and multiple live shows a week. And as for what we're diving into on today's program, I'm going to go through my Week 3 preview. Philadelphia Eagles versus the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to go through my keys to victory. Going to take a look at both opponents and just get familiar with the Eagles. And on top of that, we're going to have a lot of fun talking about the black and gold. So I hope you're ready. NFL Week 3 is finally here as the New Orleans Saints, I believe, can dominate the Philadelphia Eagles in all three phases of the game. Not just offense, not just defense, but on special teams as well. Thank you so much for joining today's program. My name is Trace Girouard. No matter where you are or how you're watching, we always appreciate the Houdat Nation for making us a part of their day. But let's get checked in with the New Orleans Saints and just kind of get a quick recap as to what happened against the Dallas Cowboys. And boy, was that a beatdown. I was hopeful and I was optimistic about that game, but a 44-19 win did not have that on my bingo card. The offense was very, very efficient. They were good in the passing game. They were good in the running game. And on top of that, the defense dominated every single quarter. Outside of just one CeeDee Lamb breakaway touchdown that Tyrann Mathieu just missed a tackle on, the defense was locked down. And the biggest factor for me was how good the offensive line was. They completely took Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence out of the game. And just quick injury notes, injury things for you to be aware of. Taysom Hill did leave that game early with a chest injury. He went to the hospital for some testing, and reports yesterday suggest that he is going to be fine. Everything is A-okay. So just wanted to get you guys informed around that. But looking how the offense is looking so far, so good. They have the they are number 3 in yards per game across the league. In points per game, they are number 1. They are at the top of the mountain, baby. The rushing yards per game, they are also ranked number 3 across the league. And then the passing yards per game, they have been good there, but they've been so good on the ground. They haven't really had to open up the passing game too much. And a big factor as to why they have been so successful on offense, in my personal opinion, the biggest surprise so far this season has been the offensive line. Not only do you have one, but you have 2 players at the top of their respective positions, according to PFF. Lucas Patrick has been stellar. Eric McCoy, phenomenal. Taliesin Fuaga has been absolutely great as a rookie. And shout out to Trevor Penning and Cesar Ruiz for also holding it down as well. This offense, in my personal opinion, is absolutely unstoppable. I was just talking about how good the offensive line has been, but I have to give a lot of credit, especially to the offensive line. Going into this season, a big thing for me was, can the offensive line hold it down? If they can't do their jobs, if they can't execute their assignments, then we will be seeing some really bad problems. And on top of that, I was very, very optimistic about Alvin Kamara as a rusher. And we have seen him absolutely take over. But it hasn't just been Kamara. It's been Jamal Williams and Taysom Hill as well. So I want to see the offensive line continue to feast. And just really quick, fun side note, Cesar Ruiz on Alvin Kamara's really long screen touchdown, he clocked 17.2 miles per hour, which is unbelievable for a guy who's in the trenches. But let's get you familiar with your opponent. The Philadelphia Eagles, they played on Monday Night Football last night. An absolute thriller of a game, to be honest. And as I was watching it, I was kind of looking at it from a Saints lens. Next week, we play the Eagles. The following week, we play against the Falcons. So I was trying to kind of get everything I could and absorb all of the game as much as possible. And the takeaways I had for the Eagles, their defense was not good, especially against the run. The Saints should have no problem with Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill and Jamal Williams running the ball. And on top of that, the offense was so bad on third down. I believe they finished 2 of 9, so they could not stay on the field. And A.J. Brown, he's a really good player, one of the top receivers in the league, and he has led receiving for Philadelphia in the past few seasons. He was inactive due to a hamstring injury, so I do think that played a factor into the Eagles' offense. But this is not a bad Eagles offense. I want to make something very clear. This is not a bad football team. This is a quality team. Just like the Dallas Cowboys, they were a good football team. The Eagles are top 10 in every single metric on offense. They are really good in scoring points. They are really good at getting yards, but they cannot convert on third down. And I'm going to get into my keys to victory here in just one second. But today's show would not be made possible if it weren't for our awesome friends over at Factor Meals. And I'm going to give you my Factor keys to victory here in just one moment. But let me tell you about a really special deal we got for the Houdat Nation. If you want to meet your wellness goals this fall, you should check out Factor Meals. They have a delicious menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. And with 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. Make every day delicious from breakfast to dessert. And that way you can also stay fueled with easy, nutritious options. So head on over to factormeals.com/SaintsChat50 and use code SaintsChat50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. I feel like I'm Billy Mays over here, but wait, there's more. That's code SaintsChat50 at factormeals.com/SaintsChat50. You'll get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. All that information is available in the comment section and description of this video. Get fueled up and get a full belly with some Factor Meals. So my Factor keys to victory, you could call them the X Factor if you will. Win on third down. I was just talking about how the Eagles are not good on third down. Well, the New Orleans Saints defense is pretty solid on third down. Right now they rank number 10 across the league, whereas the Philadelphia Eagles, they are ranking 17th on their offense. So their offense is bottom half of the league, whereas the Saints are a top 10 defense on third down. But the flip side of things here, the Saints offense on third down is number 2 across the league, but this is a big one right here. The Eagles defense is number 3 at stopping the third down 25% of the time. This game will be won on third down, and I think that is very, very important to win on that play. Number 2 key to victory for me, you got to dominate in the trenches. I just gave a lot of credit to Taliosa Fuaga, Lucas Patrick, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, and Trevor Penning. But this is a unit that a team that has a really dangerous and potentially dangerous defensive pass rush and defensive line. I think that the New Orleans Saints could take advantage of the optimistic and the positive play that they've had. But when you have the Eagles defense with players like Jordan Davis, and you have guys who are big, who are going to stop the run, but then you also have quality edge rushers on the team, that is something to keep in mind here. And on the flip side, the Saints defensive line needs to play really, really well against the Eagles offensive line. That is also a really quality unit. There's a lot of veterans on there. There's a lot of talent on that team. And I found this stat extremely, extremely interesting. Shout out to producer Jack for correcting my mistakes here. Hayden Winks pointed this out of Underdog Fantasy. The Saints actually have the number 1 pressure rate allowed within the first 2.5 seconds of a play. That's really, really good stuff. You got to continue to do that. I want to see the New Orleans Saints continue to be successful. Give Derek Carr time to drop back, survey his options, and dump the ball off. Because if you can do that, you're going to be able to spread the ball out. And if you can do that, you're going to give Rashid Shaheed plenty of time to get downfield and just huck it deep. He doesn't need 5 seconds to get all the way downfield. You give him 2, maybe 3 seconds. You say, F it, Shaheed is down there somewhere. Throw the ball as far as it can. We've seen it work multiple times so far, so just keep it moving. But I got to give some credit to the guys in the trenches, the big fellas. As a former offensive lineman, I have a soft spot for the guys and the big boys in the trenches. So type OL to show your support. They have been unbelievably surprising this year, and let's keep that mojo high. Let's keep the energy positive and show some love to our offensive linemen. So a big, maybe my biggest factor is you have to feed Alvin Kamara. If I had one takeaway from the the Eagles versus Falcons game yesterday, it's that they cannot stop the run. But look at Alvin Kamara's rush chart from Next Gen Stats in week 2. This was really good stuff here. You can see that he was getting to the outside. He was rushing up the middle. He was not limited to just one portion of the field. Alvin Kamara was spreading the ball out all over the yard. And I do believe it doesn't come down just to Alvin Kamara. It also goes down to Taysom Hill and Jamal Williams. Hell, I'd even get Rashid Shaheed involved in this. Klint Kubiak will be absolutely dialed in on this rushing attack. That's been a big factor for the New Orleans Saints in terms of their offense. It's been establishing the run. Klint Kubiak made a very big point of that all throughout the offseason, and we're seeing the benefits of it now. I mean, Alvin Kamara has had phenomenal production so far, and how he matches up against Philadelphia is actually pretty interesting. The Eagles are the worst at allowing yards per rush. They have the highest average at 6.4 yards per carry. But then on top of that, they're at the bottom of the league in rushing yards allowed per game. So don't just lean on Alvin Kamara. Don't just lean on your passing attack with Rashid Shaheed. Get the entire rushing movement going. Get the entire rushing attack going. But it all starts with AK-41. Get that guy the football, and let's see him continue to feast. This is an important one. We all know that the New Orleans Saints struggle big time when it comes to mobile quarterbacks. There was a handful of plays against Dallas that even I was a little bit worried about when we're up by 30. And Dak Prescott scrambling out of the pocket. The defense can't get the sack or can't get home and finish the pressure, and the Saints had to pay for it. They cannot afford to do that with Jalen Hurts. He's a really, really good runner with the football. 118 yards this season. He's averaging 4.5 yards per carry. And on top of that, he has also been able to have a long of 23 yards. So you got to limit the long run right there. And Jalen Hurts, fun fact, he also has had, I believe, 7 first downs on the ground. So that's something that you need to keep in mind. The tush push is going to be something that they're going to use. Just you got to try and limit it. Do not let them get into within 3rd and 3, 3rd and short. You got to beat them on 1st and 2nd down. So that way, on 3rd down when you win, it makes your life really easy. And that way, whenever Jalen Hurts starts rushing the ball, starts trying to expand plays and trying to buy more time, you have to contain him. The pass rush has to keep him inside the middle. The linebackers have to execute and keep a spy on him and bring him down when he has the ball. Do not just hit him, wrap him up, bring him to the ground, and get that helmet sticker. That's how I earned mine back in the day. Last key to victory, and this one's just a fun one more so than anything. I'll tell you what, man, I've seen the New Orleans Saints play a lot of football over my lifetime, and I'm a firm believer. When the Saints are playing their best football, it's whenever they're having fun. When the swagger, the energy, and the positivity is through the roof. I mean, you can see this team having fun after they win games. You have to keep playing Saints football. Even the defensive linemen are getting in on it. I love this picture right here with Christian Boyd and Nathan Shepard absolutely having a blast in Dallas, but this is the energy you need. Derek Carr hitting them with the Shimone. That's what I want to see. I want to see them having fun. I want to see the swagger, and I want to see the energy oozing through this team, running through the field, and I want to see this fan base absolutely root this team on. The electricity in the Superdome is going to be awesome. I can't wait for this game, but I need you to predict the score for me first. Saints versus Eagles. What do you think? I'm going to give you my score prediction in a later video, so I'm going to need you to sound off. So maybe you can help me out. But y'all stay golden. We will see you next time.